you're gonna tell me this again, I'm throwing in the towel. We've talked all week about what is the reason for manipulation, lies, and dishonesty in the addict's life. Go back and watch those videos. They're all labeled. They'll be in a playlist on YouTube. Grab those so that you can understand it. What we haven't talked about is for you, the beloved loved one of the addict, what do you do? I've given you little snippets, but let's talk about you and your ability and powerfulness in this situation. Stick around till the end because I have a bonus. And if you're on YouTube, let's smash the like button. I'm Tanya Gioia. Years of experience in addiction, as well as crafts, instructor certified, as well as a long background in coaching and connection and helping you grow through this situation instead of feeling stuck in it. So what we've talked about all week is addiction equals lying, dishonesty, and manipulation. As you breathe through that, one of the things that I want you to look at, and was extremely hard for me to look at, was acceptance that this is going to happen. So what happens is we have the lie coming at us, and as we've talked about all week, the addict is getting very practiced at this. This is becoming a habit. It's almost like they have a script. There's a script going on and nobody sent you a copy. So here's the thing. Accept that it's happening. Accept that it's a script. Accept that it's going to repeat itself. And as you begin to accept that, you're going to see the lines in the script more clearly, what they're, dare I say, feeding you, because they are feeding you something, and we've talked why they're feeding you this. It's for a very good reason. They think this is the illusion of addiction, so I can protect that way that I manage those uncontrollable, uncomfortable feelings. So one of the things that I used to say was, hey, life goes like this. When you're sober, you have to come out and play with the rest of us. That it's not always going to be okay. There's not always going to be an answer. There's not always something to run to. But what happens for us is we get dragged into that script. We get dragged sometimes kicking and screaming into that script. Where are we just the addict? We're blindsided, and suddenly we begin to have emotions, just like we did yesterday. We begin to have emotions and we're like, I don't know what to do with these emotions. And what's the most powerful emotion? Anger. So we shoot up in anger or we shut down in anger. You can go either way. And as you're doing that, you're disconnecting from the addict. You're disconnecting from self because you don't have these managed. So now you can go back and watch those videos and look at it like it's you. All of this is coming at you. Lies, manipulations, dishonesty, like they have a script and you're going, wait a minute. Wait. This is not how it's supposed to be. This is not the dream I had. This is not how I wanted our life to be. I know there's a disconnect, but I'm not always sure what it is. These emotions are in here. How do I deal with these? If you're me, you explode and you rah, and you try and teach them that this is wrong and lying is wrong and they need to get their lives together. Who am I teaching? I'm teaching that when they come to me, I'm going to explode. And why am I exploding? Because I'm not managing my emotions. Loved one, beloved of the addict, where are you taking time to manage your emotions? So as we talked about yesterday, It's going to take a little while because their script is practiced. Your responses, if you really look at them, are probably relatively consistent to what their script is, even though you feel surprised by it. Recognizing that lies, dishonesty, and manipulation go with addiction are going to give you an opportunity to step back and practice what I asked you to practice yesterday. We're going to go over it one more time. Recognize that this is happening. Acknowledge that this is happening. These are two different things. You can recognize it and still get triggered to respond to it. If you're really acknowledging, oh, telling me that they need money for somebody else because they're in a crisis is a lie, or making me the problem. Hey, when we acknowledge that what's going on is not true, either by our silence, sometimes by calmly stating what we're hearing, and sometimes by confronting, that begins to make us the problem. And we want to connect. That's our main goal, is to connect. So when we become the problem and they start attacking us, all these emotions churn up. So you have to acknowledge in some way that this is happening, then investigate. Now, here we go. This investigation is not about interrogating them, asking all kinds of questions, putting them in a box, using that anger or the clearer consciousness to go after them. This is not about interrogation. This is not about what I have done in the past, called up friends, called up places where that addict loved one used to be, said, is this what really happened? Is this what really happened? This investigation is more about what's going on with your emotions. What do you need? Now, there are some circumstances where you may need to call the bank. You may need to have the car fixed. You may need to do some different things. But investigation is part of that next step of nurturing, because when you investigate, you can figure out your other options. There was a time where I separated out money because it was not safe to have money together. So as we separate out some things, look at our options, we become powerful. That's the key. I want you to think about that you are not powerless, you are powerful. Now, can you change that other person? No, you can't walk in and change them, but you can change yourself. You can manage yourself, and then the other person has to respond. You've been in situations like this before, so they have to respond. So here you go with nurturing yourself. We've acknowledged that this is happening. We've recognized this is happening. We've acknowledged what's going on. We have investigated, which doesn't mean interrogate, which doesn't mean follow them around, which doesn't mean try to teach them. It means to find out what is true for me. What is true for me? Okay, so as we've done that, then the next thing that we do is we look at ourselves. Here's your bonus. We look at ourselves and say, what do I need? So when all this torrent is coming at us, or when these lies or manipulations are coming at us, we're externally focused. We're externally focused on this other person, what this is going to cause for us. That's when you need to step away. Actively listen, hear what's going on, and then create your own script. In my house, you cannot talk to me about serious things after 8 o'clock. Now, I had some great parents, and I learned this from my parents. Mainly because I can't focus. I will have a tendency to get mad. I can get cranky. It is not a time to talk to me. So you need to create your own script. They come with a script. There's no reason why you can't come with a script. Believe me, if you have loved an addict long enough, you have seen it. You have seen it all. You know what the script is. You can create your own script. You can look at them after listening or after hearing, if it is in a civil tone. If it's not, you can set a boundary and say, when we're ready to talk in a civil tone and like adults, then I'm going to be present for you. You can say, hey, I need some time to think about that. Or, yes, I see that's urgent. I need at least 5 minutes. Oftentimes when they make you the problem, the emotions rise up so much, you need to finish this, you need to make this happen, you need to make this different, or you've gone inside and you're doing your own self-punishment. Here's what we've talked about before. Take the pause, look at what's real, and then set up priorities. As you're doing all this, things are going to begin to shift. I can guarantee it. If you will pause, deal with yourself instead of dealing with the external, things will shift. I would love to hear in the comments how those shifts are happening. Now, if you want more, be sure and look at the free course below. Check into that. There are very specific journal prompts and tips and things that go with that course. And let's do a conversation. Let's do a quick coffee talk. I promise you will come out with at least 2 action steps from a conversation that we have. It is that important that you look at what's going on in your internal emotions. Again, I'm Tanya Gioia. You can find me over on YouTube. I'm here and I would love to speak to you. We are starting a Sober on Purpose group, and I will put that link in the comments below. Please join us over there. We do some extra things. We added some extra tips, and we've created a safe community to where you can say, hey, every time he comes home or she comes home later than 5, 6, 7 o'clock, I am just ready to blow my lid because they've committed to me. How do I change that behavior?